Hey guys, it's your girl Nosh. And what's up? What's going on, guys? I wanted to talk to you about Pluto moving into Aquarius. I did a TikTok and it was well received. Thank God. God bless. And I'm hoping that those of you who want more of a deeper explanation of what happens when Pluto moves into Aquarius, because this is something important. This is actually something really awesome. Pluto was sitting in Capricorn for the past 15 years. So Pluto sits in a planet for about 15 to 20 years. I'm saying 20 as an exaggeration, but it feels like 20 years, but it's 15 years just about, you can say. But sometimes it can sit in a planet for 20 years, depending on what the transit is. So Pluto was sitting in Capricorn for 15 years. Now, I had a lot of Capricorn placements ask me, oh, what does that mean for them? Or this, and that. What I basically wanted to tell you guys was, if you have Capricorn in your chart, take a look where it is. Where is it stationed? What house is it stationed in? So say it's in the first house. If it was in your first house, for example, what usually happens in the first house is all about your looks, your image, as I said, look and image, the phone. It's your look, it's your image, it's how you come across to people, because that's what your first house is about. Now, your second house is about your possessions, your values, the things that you value, your daily routine. Your third house is your communication. Your fourth house is your emotions, your family, your siblings. Your fifth house is about pleasure. Your sixth house is about your work, your day-to-day routine. Your seventh house is about relationships. Your eighth house is about spirits and death and transformation. Your ninth house is about spirituality, education, your in-laws. 10th house is about the people that you know. So 11th house is about your networks and organization, your community. The 12th house is about your dreams, your subconscious. So if you were to take the themes of those houses, because each house has a theme, and if you were to see where Capricorn was sitting in that theme, whilst Capricorn was sitting in Pluto for 15 years, Pluto is the planet about death and transformation. So let's take, for example, 8th house is about death, secrets, transformation, right? The planet that Pluto rules over, the 8th house. Right? So let's say you had Capricorn in the 8th house with Pluto sitting there. Right? So you got a double right there. You got Capricorn sitting in the 8th house with Pluto sitting in the 8th house as well too. That basically means that you have experienced a lot of death, a lot of loss, a lot of grief in that area. For 15 years, that's what you were dealing with. Either you lost someone and it was taking you 15 years to understand the grief and the loss behind that. So now let's go over to the 7th house. Let's say you have the 7th house in Libra, but you have Pluto sitting there, and Pluto was sitting in Capricorn. Pluto was trying to limit and cause discipline in your relationships, in your connections with others, in your marriage. Like it was giving you lessons. So basically what Pluto was doing in Capricorn was, it was trying to transmute. It was trying to transform. It was trying to end things that no longer served you in that theme area. I hope that makes sense. Now, to make a 60-second video on TikTok to explain all of this, there is no way that can happen, because you have to understand, astrology is so deep. It's like a rabbit hole. You can't just get something for 60 minutes or 15 seconds and try to understand that. I would suggest, please do your research, self-educate yourself on astrology, on your birth chart, because your birth chart is the map of your soul, right? It's a guide, it's a manual. Like when you get a car, when you buy a coffee maker, when you get the new phone, right? You get a manual with it. That manual, if you go into the index, it teaches you every single thing that you need to learn about this product that you have in front of you. You are the product created by the stars. The stars wrote your manual. If you look at the manual, you'll be able to tell where you're coming from and where you're going, what's stopping you, what is for you, what is not for you. So now going back to Pluto being in Capricorn, Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. So you had Saturn and Pluto sitting and talking in the sky for the past 15 years. Hence, there's been a lot of things in a sense where things have changed money-wise, things have changed stock-wise, things have changed geographically, things have changed with the presidency, democracy, all of this is where the change happens. Because Capricorn is about power, image, control. So if you had this in your chart, like say if you were a Capricorn sun, right? Pluto being in Capricorn 15 years was trying you, was testing you, was just making you stronger to help you understand that power isn't everything, image isn't everything. It's all about your resources. It's all about who you know and how you treat others. That's what it was trying to teach you for the past 15 years, if you had Sun in Capricorn. Rising in Capricorn, it was teaching you that it's not all about how you look and how the world sees you. It's about how you see yourself. Capricorn moons, for 15 years, you've been dealing with the sense of hardening yourself, right? Where Pluto in Capricorn, 15 years for a Capricorn moon is trying to tell you, ease up on that. Be a little vulnerable, love a little, open up a little. So it was sending you people that were fucking with your emotions to make you stronger. Because you have to understand, there's a story. Real quick, something I have to tell you that I learned and I thought it was so beautiful. In order for lotus flowers to grow, the lotus seed has to be broken. It has to be damaged. You can't just take a lotus flower seed, right, and bury it. Nothing will happen. And lotus lasts for thousands of years. So that's an amazing thing about this little plant, this little flower. It can last up to 1,000 years. The seeds can last up to 1,000 years. Sometimes it takes 1,000 years to break into that seed in order for the lotus to grow. So what I'm trying to say is, sometimes you have to break a little bit in order for the light to shine in. Sometimes you have to crumble a little bit in order to be molded correctly. If you're not broken, how can you be fixed? So if you need to heal, if there is something in your life that needs to heal, the universe will send something to trigger it, to open you up, to break you open so you can heal from that. You ever heard of a situation where there's some people who get cuts, right? Some people get a wound, some people get a cut and it doesn't heal properly. So they have to go back and they have to open that cut again. They have to go through the scar tissue again in order for it to heal better. Think about that for a second. There are surgeries out there that have to go in and cut open your scar again in order for it to heal better. Why do you think they do that? Because when it was cut open the first time, it didn't heal together the best way possible because you probably didn't get stitches. So if you didn't get stitches somewhere, right, the skin grows together, the muscles grow together, the mouse grows together, but it doesn't grow the way it's supposed to. Because when you get stitches, it pulls everything back together the way it's supposed to be. So this way it can grow properly again. The skin can grow properly, right? So what happens is sometimes we have scars that need to be cut open again in order for us to heal from those properly. That's going to hit home with a lot of people because for the past 15 years, we've been basically having our scars cut open again so we can heal. This is all in the birth chart. So now that Pluto is moving into Aquarius, we're going to have a lot of change in the sense of how we think about others, how we feel about others, how we feel about the world, how we feel about the universe, how we feel about the people around us, our neighbors. Because it's all about organization and your community. So during this time, a lot of people are going to be thinking, how do I fit in with people? And the 15 years in Capricorn that you've already had should tell you that you don't need to fit in. Just be a kind individual. Just be yourself. Those are the people that are going to be trying to fit in are the ones that are going to lose out. Because that's why Capricorn was in Pluto, trying to teach you that you don't need to fit in anywhere. You don't need power. You don't need image. You don't need reputation. You just need to be you. You need to be true to yourself. Now that we're moving into Aquarius, it's going to test you. Like, do you really care to be popular, or do you care to be truthful? Do you care if everybody likes you, or are you going to switch up what you're saying and what you're doing because you want people to like you? That's where this transformation is happening. Like, are you going to pick people that can benefit you, or are you going to pick people that you can learn from and help as well too? Not only benefit from them, but be a benefit to them. Because a lot of times what people do is they think about how they can benefit from someone else, but they never think about how they can be a beneficial to someone else. Makes you think, right? So this is what is happening in the sky. Now, Pluto is going to be in Aquarius till 2043. It has to do its course there until 2043. So going towards 2043, you're going to see a lot of changes. A lot of changes in the social networking, the social media, with influencers, with people dealing with community, right? Dealing with community and organizations. So people are either going to get tighter, or people are going to see the truth and they're going to move further away from each other. A lot of my young ones, people who were born in 2008, right? So it's so weird to say that now. Like, you know, people born in 2008, God bless those kids. That's our new generation. That's our Gen Z generation. So the children born during that time, their growing up was all about understanding. Are you going to be you, or are you going to be basically controlled by others? These were the children that basically kind of like, that questioned their parents a lot during this time period. The past 15 years, if you're the child that's been questioning your parents, that's because Capricorn was working in you. Now, it doesn't really affect them that much, right? Because they're in the years of, I call it the wonder years, where you're happy, you're careless, you really don't know. Shit really doesn't start for you until you turn 13, 14, when you turn into a teenager, depending on the lifestyle that you have, depending on the parents that you have. But it starts then, right? And then it grows. And then as you become an adult, you've already have a personality, and now you operate from that personality that you've accumulated from being a child. Like, I always make this joke. If it's an asshole when he was a kid, they're going to be an asshole as an adult. If they were a nice person as a kid, they were a giving person, they were a nurturing person as a kid, that's what they're going to be as an adult. You want to know what your child is going to be? Look at them right now. What kind of personality do they have? Or do they cry in the face of adversity? Or do they say, no, it's okay, it's fine? You know those kids that throw a tantrum when they can't have what they want? You have to watch out for those children, because that's how they're going to be when they're adults. If you do not fix that right now. The ones that talk back to you right now have no respect for elders. They're going to be even much worse when they get older. You got to understand, guys, if you have children, you are molding them right now. That is why it's very important to mold your child to be a better human being than you. If you're an asshole, please make sure your child does not turn out to be an asshole. If you're a good person, make sure your child grows up to be a person who understands how to be a good person, but also have boundaries. Because as parents, we forget. We always say, oh, it's my kid, I know what I'm doing. When people who don't have children have no right to say this and that. You know what? Granted, you're saying that. But overall, if you look in your child's birth chart and it tells you that this child is going to struggle, like say, for instance, they have a retrograde somewhere, that is the area you want to help them with. Don't go against them. Help them. You're the parent. It's your job to help. And if you don't like that, you shouldn't have kids. Okay? Plain and simple. If you don't want to make sure that whatever you're giving birth to is going to be a better version of you, then stop giving birth. Stop having children. Because right now, going forward, what we need good people in this world to make good changes. We got enough assholes as is already. So that's what Pluto in Capricorn has been about. 15 years of understanding limits, restrictions, lessons. Most of us, we're getting rid of our karmic cycles right now. All right, we're at the end of them. So some of you probably faced the last of your karmic cycles over the summer, going towards fall. Now, when I say it's smooth sailing, what I mean is your karma has been done. If you broke out of your karmic cycles, congratulations. Don't do it going forward now, because now you're getting a clean slate. A lot of times people come to me and say, well, how much karma do I have left? Listen, we're always going through karma. Okay, I'm just going to say that now the worst of it is over, because now we actually get a chance to put out good karma in order to get good karma back. The more good people want to know, oh, do I get karma? Do I get listen, as long as you keep putting good out there, you have nothing to worry about. As long as you keep your heart clean, you have nothing to worry about. You're not sitting there gossiping about someone. You're not talking shit about someone. You're not trying to take from someone. You're not trying to evilize someone. You're not trying to be jealous from someone. Then you're fine. But if you're doing any of the above, then yeah, you're going to have more karma. Because again, what you put out there is what you get. And don't ever for a second think that you're not being watched. Every thought that you conspire in your heart, every feeling you conspire in your heart, the Creator already knows, because the Creator knows you. Okay, just like as a mother, you can say, oh, I already know what my kid is thinking because I gave birth to them. What do you think the Creator says about you? So when you sit there and lie to people and say, oh, I didn't say shit about her. Oh, I wasn't evil-eyeing her. I wasn't jealous of her. The Creator already knows. So when bad things start happening to you, go back and reflect in yourself. Go back and look in your backyard and see what you need to clean up before you start talking about somebody else's backyard. This is what Capricorn was about, sitting in Pluto. The death and the transformation of the old thinking that you had to now moving into the new thinking. Now, again, keep in mind, like I said, because most of you are just honestly really interested in, oh, what is it going to do for me? You know, everyone is about themselves, and I totally understand. But, so like I said, if you go into your birth chart and you look at your houses have certain themes because they're ruled by certain planets. Sit and correlate that together. Because I already gave you the theme of each house. And if you want to find out, you know, again, you can rewind the video. You can go back and listen to it again. Each house has a theme. Now, Pluto is the governor of death and transformation. So if you put death and transformation while in Capricorn, father time, karma, lessons, discipline, limitations, right? Into those themes, you can figure it out. It's like if X plus B equals C, what is B? You know what I mean? That's what you're going to have to sit and do. Meaning, if Pluto is in Capricorn and you have Pluto in the first house with, say, Pisces, what does that mean for you? I can tell you right now, Pisces is you having first house in Pisces is you're probably very dreamy looking. You're probably very like, the world looks at you as like someone who moves around gracefully and everything comes easy for you. While Pluto sits here, you're going to learn that what you do is not actually graceful. It takes you a long time to get there, but you criticize your looks too much for it. You criticize your image too much for it. And Pluto in Capricorn was teaching you that you don't need to do that. Become more practical. Well, so for some reason, I want to say a lot of Pisces, for our first house Pisces, are very like, they look very like, very fantasy wise. Like they dress very fantasy wise, like, you know, like very, very, I don't know how to say it, but I feel like they're very, they're characters. Very good looking people. Now, I'm not saying that they're not good looking people. They're good looking people, but they're going to understand that their images and everything. It's about their heart. So if you got Pluto sitting in the first house, it's all about understanding that it's not about image and looks and appearance. It's about your heart. How does your heart operate? Does it match what you look like? You know what I mean? Because people can be beautiful on the outside, but be ugly on the inside. And those are the people that you want to be careful of. Because a lot of times people say when you look good, everybody trusts you. I say if you look good, I don't know. I go for the energy. To me, everybody is beautiful. Nobody looks better than another person because everyone is unique in their beauty. This is why when people come to me and say, oh, she could never do that. She's so pretty. Really? That's the reason you have why she wouldn't do what you're thinking? Like that's a really like a weak ass excuse to say, oh, they wouldn't do that. He's really hot. He's hot. He doesn't look like that type of person. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. So I would suggest for you guys to sit and go over your houses and see where Pluto sits. Because Pluto is also the house of power here. Pluto is where, since death and transformation take place, there's nothing more powerful than something dying and being transformed. With every death, there's a new beginning. So whenever something ends in your life, there's something that begins. That's why it's so powerful. So also look into your houses and the themes and see how this was affecting you. So if you have Pluto sitting anywhere in your houses, those houses are the ones that will strengthen at this point. Like if you didn't know what your power was before, it's going to start showing now. Because before, what was happening was, again, you were being trained. You were going through lessons. Now the lessons is over. That's what Capricorn sitting in Pluto for 15 years means. That there was a lot of lessons that you had to learn. I hope you learned those lessons. So going forward, you make the right decisions for your life. And for all of us, it's basically understanding that it's not about power and control and image and appearances. It's about the heart. Because the Pluto is moving into Aquarius, and Aquarius is all about the heart. A lot of times people say that Aquariuses are cold, they're detached, and this and that. The reason why that is because they feel too much. It's like Virgo. Virgo and Aquariuses are two zodiac signs that feel too much. Extremely too much. You know what? I'm going to add Scorpio into this category too. The reason why people think Scorpios are so intense and they're so dark is because they feel a lot. Okay. Like when a Scorpio gets mad at you, it's in the sense it's righteous anger. When they get mad at you, it's righteous anger in a sense because it's so pure, it's so dark. Anything that's so pure and so dark, it's magnifying. So that's why their intensity is so strong. That's why some people can't handle Scorpios. Scorpios are constantly thinking about what they did wrong and how they can fix it. They're constantly thinking about how, how can this happen? Like they get to the depths of it because they're very deep. Now you go over to Virgo. Virgo is all about balance and perfectionism. Virgos are constantly trying to make everything perfect. Whether they come across that way or not, but in their mind, they have a certain look, a certain image of something, and they want it to perfect it to that point. But sometimes it doesn't work out like that. And Virgos overthink, so they do feel a lot. So sometimes they come across very detached is because they're trying to be logical. Because they already know they feel so much. You get what I'm saying? And Aquarius is the other sign where they are so empathetic. They feel everyone. That's why they have to be detached. Because if they didn't, it would drive them fucking crazy. So now Pluto moving into Aquarius is going to help you realize that the things that you've been running after, your heart wasn't even in it. You were just doing it because everybody else was doing it. Now you're going to see a lot of authentic things come out. Now you're going to see a lot of authenticity around you. You're going to see a lot of genuinity around you. You're going to see a lot of people get together and fight for the same causes, for humanity, for love. This is where the revolution is coming in, because Aquarius is all about revolution, change. Because you're forgetting something. Aquarius is ruled by Saturn and Uranus. Uranus is the rebel planet. It's all the way out there. It does its own thing. It doesn't listen to anyone. And that's how Aquariuses move. I've never met an Aquarius that's generic. Every Aquarius that I've met is an individual with their unique abilities. It's the uniqueness that matters the most. You being different matters the most. When everyone else is jumping off the bridge, it's you who says, no, I'm not going to jump because everybody's jumping. Is everyone slapping their face red and the uniqueness of saying, no, I'm not going to slap my face red like everybody else. Like, I don't want to be like everybody else. Like when it's cool to bully everyone. It's cool to do this from someone or to take this from someone. Pluto and Aquarius is going to teach you, no, that's actually not right. What about the other person's feelings? Right now, we've been operating of me, 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 me. God, I'm so sick and tired of that. Me, 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 me. My love, my soulmate, my twin flame, this and that. Now we're moving into an era where we've seen the truth about twin flames. We've seen the truth about soulmates. Now we really understand that, are we really going for looks for someone, with someone? Are we really going for the money that they have? Or are we going to go for what their soul is? How does their soul operate? Where's their moral compass at? These are the things that are going to speak profoundly. Then, of course, depending on where you have Aquarius in your chart, and whatever theme that's going on in that house is going to affect it that way. And of course, if you need better help, or you need some encouragement in your chart, you need some help reading your chart, you can always book a session with me. You can email me, you can Instagram me, you can meet me over there on TikTok and leave a message. You can leave a message in the comments below. I will answer. I'm very good with that. I'm here to help you guys. We're all here to help you guys. The people who do astrology, people who do birth charts, we all have one thing in common. We want you to understand how your soul operates. So this way you can stop living the karma that you live, because most of us are still living the karma from our past lives. And that's another thing I want to point out. 15 years in Capricorn, right? Pluto sitting in Capricorn for 15 years. You were also reliving cycles from your past life that were traumatic, that you needed to heal this lifetime. So you fighting with your parents, you fighting with your siblings, you not being able to get a good job, you not being able to make money, or you not being able to get married or finding love. This was all lessons from a past life that you carried into this life that you had to fix. Because again, Saturn is all about lesson and karma. But people forget to understand, because a lot of people don't believe in this, and then that's fine. Everybody's entitled to what they want to believe in. But you did exist before this lifetime. Whether it was another life, whether it was as a dog, as a cat, as a rabbit, as a tree somewhere, as a star up in the sky somewhere, you existed. The soul is something that is very, very old. Most of the people, right, especially the Capricorns, the Capricorn generation. And when I say the Capricorn generation, I'm talking about the Pluto in Capricorn generation. Right? The Pluto in Capricorn generation. Let's talk about them for a second. Those are old souls. So if you had a child during the time period that Pluto was sitting in Capricorn, I guarantee you your child is an old soul. Your child is probably so advanced. Now going into Pluto in Aquarius, these children are going to be far more advanced. This generation is going to be more in the sense of loving and nurturing. Like if you go all the way back, right? Let's start with Pluto and Virgo. These are the boomers. Those people, right? The people that are in their like 70s, 80s right now. You see how these people were so cold, so unattached to their children? I mean, they were nurturing, but nurturing in the sense they felt that providing for their child financially is more important than providing for their child emotionally. As the years have gone, right? As the years have gone, because then we have Pluto in Sagittarius, then we have Pluto in Scorpio. Then we have Pluto in Libra, Pluto in Sagittarius, Pluto in Scorpio, Pluto in Sagittarius, then Pluto in Capricorn. Did I say that right? Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius. Pluto just left Sagittarius. Back in 2008, Pluto was sitting in Sagittarius. That's when everything was fun. Barack Obama was the president. We hit the recession. As it was transiting into Capricorn, we hit that recession time period where all this money that we were just blowing, thinking that everything is fine, made us realize, shit, I needed to save, because we hit the recession. And I don't know if you guys were old enough to understand what the recession was, because some of my viewers are young folk. But those of you who understand where the recession hit, our jobs weren't stable anymore. We had to start from zero again. I myself was in my 20s. I think I was in my early 20s, mid 20s probably. Because if I'm 42 now, I was like in my 20s at that time. That time for me was, I at that age, I dropped out of college and I was working 2 jobs. Because I wanted a good life for myself. I wanted to move out of my parents' house so bad. You know what I mean? I wanted to move out of my parents' house. So I was working 2 jobs to be on my own. And I remember in 2008, 2009, all of that stopped. The recession took place. I lost my job. I had to move back in with my parents. And I've been living with my parents ever since. So it's about that time period. A lot of you probably had to go back home too. A lot of you had to give up everything that you had. At that time, I remember I was driving a Beamer. I had an X3, and out of nowhere, 2009, 2010, I think it was, my Beamer started giving me problems because it wasn't good that I had it. My Beamer was like so expensive, like it was just fucking ridiculous. The payment on it was like fucking owning a horse. And I remember my parents telling me, "You're too young to have this much of a payment. You need to let it go." And I just love the Beamer. I love the image that the Beamer gave me. Let's talking about image, guys. Let's talk about that for a second. When my Beamer broke down and I had to go back to a Civic, my image left too. Before that, I was known in town, the girl that drives the Beamer. Like, it didn't matter what I looked like. I drove a Beamer. I'd be walking around in sweats and shit in my fucking flip flops. we've been doing slides and hoodies and sweats like back in 2000. Okay. But if you had a nice car, it didn't matter what the fuck you looked like getting out of the car. As long as you had a nice car, your car showed everybody how much money you made. And at that time, I was making very good money. But like I said, I ended up losing my job. I already had dropped out of college before that. What happened to me was I had to start everything over. I remember going back to school again. 2012, 2011, I remember going back to school again to finish. Because that's what I had to do because it wasn't working. So a lot of us went through a lot of changes. Some of us got divorced. Some of us left relationships. Some of us had to move out of homes. Some of us had to leave really great jobs. Why? Because that's what change is about. The universe is always going to change things for you to get you in a better foundation. So Pluto in Capricorn for 15 years was basically stabling out your foundation. So whatever you went through, it wasn't in vain. Will you go through it again? There's no guarantees if you act the same. Oh, that rhymed. I like that. I like that a lot. I'm going to have to go back and listen to that so I can make a poem out of that. So what I'm trying to say is moving forward, now that Pluto is in Aquarius, a lot of people are like, well, what does that mean? What does that mean is things are going to change again. We're no longer going to be looking at celebrities in a sense that, oh, they're God. Basically, we're not going to be putting things on a pedestal that don't belong on a pedestal anymore, especially if it's consumerism and materialism and superficiality. We're moving into the time period of Aquarius. We already moved into the age of Aquarius. When we moved into the age of Aquarius, we saw a lot of truths. We understood what's really going on. How people are really lying to us and making us think it's the truth when it's really not. I'm just going to do that right there. A lot of truths came out within your family. A lot of truths came out within your friends. A lot of truths came out about yourself. Now moving forward, we're going to take that truth and we're going to work with it. We're going to give it love. We're going to nurture it. Because moving forward, that's the only thing we can do. If not, we're going to be smacked out the fucking game. If you are not operating from your love and your heart moving forward, meaning if you're not operating with love from your heart, pure intentions, it's not going to work anymore. Nothing is going to work in your fucking favor. I'm telling you this right now. If you have ulterior motives, it's not going to work in your favor. It's going to be shown. It's going to be put into spotlight so other people can see that you really didn't mean it when you sent that gift. You only sent that gift because you wanted to benefit yourself. You really didn't help that person. You only helped that person because of the position they were in. Because you knew that the position that they were in could turn around and help you one day. All the underdogs are going to be top dogs now. Because we're going to see the top dogs, how fake they are. Everything that they did to get there was just disgusting. So I'm glad that we're living in this time period. I'm so happy that we're going through this. I love this for us. I'm very happy for us. I'm very happy that we're going to be able to become that lotus seed that after 1,000 years, we're finally going to be able to be cracked so something can grow out of us. Right? You like that about the lotus seed, right? Yeah, check it out, guys. Look it up. Lotus seeds, wow. Like, they have been around for a long, long time. And they're very protective. If you come across like a lotus seed that hasn't been cracked open, that is a very protective seed. If you make it into a bracelet or if you make it into a necklace and wear it, oh my God, that's 1,000 years protection right there. That just gave me chills. So anyways, be able to be broken so you can bloom like the lotus. I'm going to leave you guys with that. I love you. and enjoy. And if I don't do another video like this before it's New Year's, I'm gonna say it now. Happy New Year's, guys. It's a new year. There's a lot of things that are gonna happen that are gonna change for the better of it all, okay? For the good of it all, for the good for humanity of it all. Right now, we're gonna see a couple of things that are gonna hurt us, but remember, this hurt has to happen in order for good to happen. Okay? Mwah. I love you guys again. Bye.